All right, today we're taking a look at how to change out a boot seal on a front load LG ThinQ wash tower. The boot seal, of course, is going to be the rubber door gasket right here. And as you can see, this one is extremely dirty. If I pull this back, it's very moldy, very dirty. Looks like this one has never really been properly taken care of. It stinks, and so it is time to put a new one on, and I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to do that. So let's take a closer look. But before we do that, I just want to take a moment to mention the fact that when it comes to doing your own repairs, there's usually more than one way to get the job done. The way that I show you in my videos is just the way that I prefer to do them, but also usually I do them the way that I do because I like to give you the best angles. I like to be able to really get in there and show you all the aspects of what we're dealing with. And sometimes when you do shortcuts, you're dealing with really tight spaces, and it doesn't really give me the ability to give you a full idea of what we're trying to take on. So and it never fails. I always have somebody in the comments section, you know, saying, hey, you know, you didn't have to do it that way. You could have done it this way. It's so much easier. And that might be the case. Again, I just do them the way that I do them. If you find another way to do it that works better for you, then by all means, please feel free to do that. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to start by removing this user interface panel right here. And to do that, we're going to come to either side. You can either start on the left-hand side or the right-hand side over there. I'm going to start on the right. So we're right here on the right-hand side of the machine. And if you look right here, there's a little tab, and it says push on the end. If you just push in on it, this piece will pop out, exposing the screw right there. You want to go ahead and remove that one. And then you're going to go to the other side and repeat that process. Once you've got those out, you can just come back to the front of it, and you want to grab that panel and just kind of wiggle it out. And you can see that it has two wires connected to it. One of it's going to run to the dryer and one of it's going to run to the washer. They have little tabs on the top of them. You just want to press in on the tab and pull the wire out on both of those, and that will allow us to remove the panel completely. Pull out the detergent dispensing tray until it won't come out anymore. And then right back here, there's a little section that says push. You'll just push down on that and pull out. Where that detergent dispenser is, there are two screws, one here and one here. You want to remove those. And then you want to come down here where this little trap door is on the bottom left-hand corner of your machine. Go ahead and fold it down, and then you can pull it off. You want to grab this drain hose for the pump and just pull it out of this little holder right here. And then there's a screw here that we want to take out. Some models will have one here and then another screw just a little bit higher right above this little plastic holder. This one doesn't, it just has the one. But if you have to, just take both of those out. And then you can remove this plastic piece. And then there will be another screw right here that we need to take out that just helps secure the bottom of the panel to the frame of the machine. Open up the door. You want to grab a flathead screwdriver, and what we're going to do is we're going to remove the metal ring that holds the boot seal in place right here. If you pull this back just a little bit, you can see the metal ring right here. Just take your flathead screwdriver, work it up underneath it, and then pull it out towards you until it comes off. The last part of removing the front panel is going to be to take out the screws that hold it in place, and there's a total of 8 of them. There's going to be 2 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 2 here. And then if we take a closer look on the very end, you're going to see 2 screws. We want to remove the bottom one on this side and the bottom one on this side. Once you've got all the screws out, you want to come right here, and there's a little metal tab. You'll press down on that. And when you press down on it, it'll allow the front panel to come forward towards you. Let me give you a better look. So press down on it, pull it towards you, and you might have to open up your door and work the boot seal through the opening. And that'll allow you to lean it all the way forward. And then you'll come over the top of it, and you see this wire coming up running to the door switch. You want to remove that, and it's got a little tab on the end of it just press it in, pull it down. It might have this little plastic piece down here that it catches on. If so, just remove it from there. And then you can just pull the whole panel right off. The front panel is off. Now we want to remove these counterweights that run along the side. And if we take a look at it from the front, you can see that each one is held in by 4 screws. And to take those out, we're going to use a 10mm nut driver. And while you're taking them out, you want to make sure that you hold on to the counterweight. Because as you unscrew these, it'll start to pop off, and what you don't want is for it to fall and potentially break. Those 4 are out. We can just pull it straight off and then do the other side. Next, we want to remove any connections that are running to this boot seal. For the wash towers that I know of, LG uses 2 different types of boot seals. This one has a hose here at the bottom that runs to the drain pump, and there is a hose up here as well. And if you look on the sides, it'll be the same on the right hand side as it is on the left hand side. There is this black piece, and these insert into the side of the boot seal. The other style of boot seal that they use doesn't have a hose up here or anything on the sides, but again, this one does, so we want to remove all those connections. The bottom of the boot seal right here, this is where the drain port is. It has a little squeeze clamp. Just squeeze it, pull it back, and then this will pull off of the tub. Up at the top, there's a clamp that holds this hose in place. Again, a pair of channel locks. Squeeze it, push it up, and remove the hose. This one also has a tub light. So this black and red wire right here runs up underneath here. You can see that there is a little red tab right here. Take your channel locks, squeeze it, and pull it through from the other side until it pops off. And pull it down, and you'll see where this wire connects. Just go ahead and disconnect that. When you go to replace this boot seal, to make sure that you are getting the correct one for your particular model, at the top of the boot seal, just right of the connections up here, this will be the part number, and this particular one is MDS 6629, and that's a 08. Again, whichever boot seal that you have, the part number for it will be right here. This next part is going to be removing the wire that holds the boot seal to the tub back here. If I pull this back, it is in this little groove. I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the top, but feel free to find a spot anywhere all the way around that works best for you to be able to get your flathead screwdriver up underneath it, like we did previously. Just like that. And then pull it out towards you. This black piece right here can stay connected to the actual tub. Just pull it out of the boot seal. One on the top, and there's one on the bottom. This is the right hand side. We'll switch to the left hand side. And with it completely free of all the connections, you can remove it. With your old boot seal off, this is a really good opportunity for you to be able to get into an area and clean that you wouldn't normally be able to get to. You can see how dirty all this is in here. You've got the outer tub right here and the inner tub, which is the outside of the inner tub. You can take any kind of cleaning solution that you want. I usually will use like a wire brush or an SOS pad. You want to get that all cleaned up before you put the new one on. You want to get your new boot seal, and you want to make sure that you have the drain port facing towards the bottom and this connection up here facing towards the top. And if you look at the top of the boot seal, you'll see there is a little point right here, and the tip of this is going to line up with this triangle right here, so that you've got it exactly where it needs to be. So let's go ahead and get this tip lined up with this arrow up here. And what you want to do is grab the boot seal, just the back of it, and it's got a section right here that you're just going to work over this this plastic rim. Start by lining it up and just slowly work your way around, getting the boot seal over that lip. Once you feel like you've got it all the way on there, just make sure, take your fingers and run them all the way around and make sure that it's flush. There's no spots where it's kind of coming up off of that lip. Again, just make sure that it's nice and flush. And then once it is, we will put our spring back on. Now this part can be a little bit tricky, okay? Right now, the spring is hooked through this little end right here. Go ahead and remove that so that your ring opens up all the way. And then what we want to do is we want to start at the bottom by getting it in that groove and working it in all the way around. This is why you wait to do all of the connections until afterwards. Otherwise, your connections will get in your way. And once you've got it there, again, just take your fingertips and run it all the way around, just making sure that that ring isn't coming out anywhere. If you hold both ends up at the top, there really shouldn't be much of a gap between the hoop right here and the hook. With a pair of needle nose pliers, and hold on to it like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my weight to pull from the right towards the left, and I'm going to hook the hoop into this piece right here. Reconnect your hose at the top of the boot seal. Just make sure that that hose goes all the way down onto the connection. Sometimes it can be a little tough. And resecure the clamp. Reconnect your tub light, and then you've got this little plastic tab right here that you're just going to run up through the backside and push it through the hole in the middle right here. And then you can pull this black piece up, and you'll see you've got a hole right here that it can go into, and then there is another one right here. These don't have any clamps, so you don't have to worry about clamping anything down. You just want to make sure that they're all the way in. And then we'll do the left hand side, same thing. You want to make sure that the drain port for the boot seal goes over this this plastic black plastic piece right here. If you try to go under it, this won't allow it to go back flush enough, and it'll mess everything up. So just make sure that it's going over it instead of under it. Now that we've got that completed, we're just going to put everything back exactly the way that it came off. Put your counterweights back on. You want to make sure that you get them nice and tight. If you don't, then they'll rattle when your machine goes to the spin cycle. Put your front panel back on, and if you look at the bottom of that front panel, there's 3 slits down there, and then you've got 3 pieces of metal, one here, one in the middle, one on the other side, that come up. Those pieces of metal insert into the slits, so you just want to make sure that you get those in there. Kind of do it at an angle, and then reach over the top or come down through the side. Take the wire that connects to the door switch and just reconnect it. Make sure that it is pushed in all the way, because if you don't, then it won't lock properly. It'll give you an error code. Before you close it up, a couple of things. You want to make sure that this wire doesn't get stuck behind there, so pull it over the top. And then this right here, this is the housing for the detergent dispenser. Just want to make sure that it is coming through this hole like that before you push this up, so you don't have to try to fish it out. And then you can push your panel forward, push down on that same little metal tab from before, and that'll help hold it in place. Resecure that front panel with all the screws that you took out earlier. As well as the 2 long screws that go through here to hold the detergent dispenser housing in place. Slide your tray back in. 1 screw down here. This plastic piece will go back on. The big hole will go on the right hand side. This little hole will go towards the left, and this hose will come through the little hole right there. Push it all the way in and resecure it with the screw. And then you can push that hose back up into the holder and pop this little door back in. Open up your door, grab your boot seal, and pull it through the front part of this hole. Pull it back just a little bit. You'll see this metal lip right here. You want to peel the boot seal back just a little bit, slip it over that lip, and work it in all the way around. So should only take you a few moments. And then again, once you think you've got it on there all the way, just take the tips of your fingers and rub them all the way around and make sure that it's nice and flush. What you want to do is you want to start with your spring at the bottom, and I offset it just right of center. I get about half of it in on the right hand side from the bottom to the top, like that. And then I use a pair of needle nose pliers. They do make a tool that you can buy on Amazon that spreads this spring. I've never bought one. I've always just used a pair of pliers. I'll put a link for that in the description. If you want to buy it, it's like $10, give or take. A lot of people swear by it and say that it makes this process super easy. But without having to spend any money, if you have a pair of needle nose pliers, this works perfectly. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the left-hand side of the spring, this little ring right here, with the needle nose pliers, and then I'm gonna use all of my weight to push from right to left. And as I am pulling, it's gonna spread this spring, and then we're just gonna use our left hand to work in the remainder of the ring into the groove. So again, it's halfway in. We're just gonna take the needle nose pliers, grab this little piece down here, and then just use our weight to push to the left. And as I'm pushing, I'm just working that ring in the rest of the way. And now it's on. Last but not least, we're just going to reconnect our control panel. It's labeled, each one of the connections. The one right here is for the washer. This one towards the top of the panel is for the dryer. This wire that is coming up from the middle is going to be for the washer. And this one over here that is coming downwards is going to be for the dryer. And they will just snap right back in place. Then we can flip this up and pop it back in. Put our screw back into the side. Close that up, and same with the other side. That's not necessarily the easiest repair. It is a little bit, involved because you do have to take the machine apart a little bit. But for what it's worth, if you are thinking about doing this yourself, or if you have already now completed the project, just know that if you had called an appliance technician to do something like this for you, they probably would have charged you an arm and a leg. As always, my goal is simply just to try to help people as much as I possibly can. So hopefully I was able to do that for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. We'll catch you next time.